love endures. Love is long suffering. So you have to go through with the person that you say you love because you show the love, not feel it. There are times where you don't feel so good about it, but you do it anyway because I'm showing you that I love you. And that's the difference. The culture now says love is how I feel, not what I do. And because I don't feel good, I won't do good towards you. That's not love. That's infatuation. You know?
I wasn't building our relationship off of godly principles. It was about affection, you know, like, oh, he make me feel good. He make me smile. Oh, he give me flowers. So, I mean, it was like, that was popping for me at the beginning. But when those things stopped, not saying that he just cut it out, but when we had our downtimes, our arguments, what's going to sustain us then?
God's love is loving me, loving us in our ugliness, in our downs, our disappointments, or maybe disappointments in each other. His love is still sustaining us so we can work through that. You know, you're talking 35 years of marriage. Trust me, there's been some things, but it's because of the love of God and the love that we have for God that we're standing.
Love is just a journey. It's absolutely a journey, and you just have to commit to it.
Yo, I got my boo thing here. I call him my most wanted. So if I start saying my most wanted, he's not wanted in America. He's just wanted by me. So this is my husband, Casey Roberts.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in because we don't want to delay the time because everybody wants to know about this love thing. So I'm going to start off with asking a question to our guest on here. Do you think what our culture calls love is actually love, or is it mostly desire, convenience, and emotions?
Society or culture underrates love. That's what I think, because the way it's displayed, whether it's social media, television, movies, whatever, it's a superficial type of love. It's a, I give you this, or, I provide this for you, or what have you. It's not a foundational love, a gripping type of love. It's just surface. It's a surface kind of love, and that kind of love wears off really fast.
And then also, as time goes by, feelings change. So we cannot base our love off of just emotion because feelings change. That's the reason why God has to be at the center. And it's one thing that I've learned over time, because when Casey and I started dating, I can tell you for sure, we didn't mention God in our relationship. For me, I can speak to myself. I wasn't building our relationship off of godly principles. It was about affection, you know, like, oh, he make me feel good. He make me smile. Oh, he give me flowers. So, I mean, it was like, that was popping for me at the beginning. But when those things stopped, not saying that he just cut it out, but when we had our downtimes, our arguments, what's going to sustain us then? But growing up, like I said, you look at TV, like you had mentioned, and you see all of these fairy tales, the Cinderella love book. What's that movie I like where, The Notebook. Oh my God, The Notebook.
That was a good movie. Yes.
Yes, The Notebook. You see all of that and you want that, but it's a lot behind love, not just what you see on TV.
Media itself has made love about finances and money and, as you all stated, what can you do for me and how do I feel about what you do for me? And if I no longer feel good about the things that are being said and done, then I don't love you, right? But what is the biblical principle of love? Well, love is patient, love is kind. Love doesn't take any, account of wrongdoing. It doesn't hold on to these things. So when you think about the biblical definition of love, love endures. Love is long suffering. So you have to go through with the person that you say you love because you show the love, not feel it. There are times where you don't feel so good about it, but you do it anyway because I'm showing you that I love you. And that's the difference. The culture now says Love is how I feel, not what I do. And because I don't feel good, I won't do good towards you.
Right.
That's not love. That's infatuation.
Right.
You know?
It's really interesting too, because the culture or society also says, if this isn't working out for me, I could just get another one.
Yeah.
So there's nothing long suffering, patient, or kind.
Right.
It's very limited in society. Unlike a godly agape love is enduring, it's patient, it's long suffering, it's not easily provoked. All the things
right.
you're saying from
Yeah.
1 Corinthians.
That's how you learn how to love, is through your intimate relationship with Christ. He shows you how to be patient. He shows you how to be slow to anger, slow to respond. And I'm not saying that I mastered. I'm not saying that I mastered all of that. I mean, it's still a work in progress as seasons change, as my hormones change and I get
Let's
older.
talk about it.
But God teaches us that, we have to be more so selfless
Yeah.
and serving,
Yes.
being a servant to
Yes.
your spouse.
Yes.
He also teaches us that it's more about sacrifice.
We were talking about all that earlier.
Yeah, you have to sacrifice. So some days I know my most wanted here, he's not feeling what I'm saying or what I want to do, but he sacrificed his feelings to make me happy, and vice versa. So you have to have that foundation, like I said, with God, but just being selfless, being serving. Know that you want to be in it to win it, despite what goes on in your relationship.
Right.
And it's good that you all brought up the point about 1 Corinthians, because I was going to ask, what is God's love? How would you define it?
When it comes to God's love, God's love is it's overarching, it's transcending, it's deep, it's committal, it's selfless. I mean, God so loved the world, right, that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. God's love is everlasting. It doesn't go away. It doesn't fade. It's not moody and fickle. He's the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. I feel like I'm about to preach something.
Go ahead.
But that's the kind of love he is, an everlasting love. It's an eternal love. But God's love is also a fighting love. He fights for us.
Yes, he does.
He leaves the 99. He comes after the one. And that's God's love. God's love is loving us in our ugliness, in our downs, our disappointments, or maybe disappointments in each other. His love is still sustaining us so we can work through that. You're talking 35 years of marriage. Trust me, there's been some things, but it's because of the love of God and the love that we have for God that we're standing. God's love is amazing.
I think when you're talking, it reminds me of this old song, I have some good days.
You have some bad days, yeah.
And some sleepless nights, you name it. So I think love is just a journey.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a journey, and you just have to commit to it. Sometimes I listen to my wife, okay, for example, she have an issue where she's upset about something. She wants 48 hours. 24 hours to...
You want 48.
Yeah. I want
He wants to talk about it right then.
Right here now.
And I'm like, no, I need 24.
I don't want to go back to sleeping on this. No, let's attack it now. But sometimes I have to find myself, in the prayer closet in a sense. I pray that time, and God gives me insight of how to deal with her and also how to deal with myself. So, so when we have Christ as our centerpiece, we have a source to go back to and say, Lord, I don't understand right now what's going on, but help me, oh God, help me to understand what I need to do, how I said that, and so forth, and why did I say it like that way? And a lot of time I go back and saying I apologize, because I got to also do a self-examination of myself.
Accountability.
Maybe I triggered something. What did I do that I could have maybe done better?
So before you even got to that point of being married, though, how did you handle conflict in your relationship while dating? Was God really the center at that moment, too?
Well, here's
when
the
you
deal.
were dating?
Here's the deal with dating. I wouldn't date Richard if he didn't go to church with me.
Oh, so you had.
So I'm not saying I was super saint or anything like that, but yeah, I wouldn't. He had to go to church. You're going to be with me. You're going to go to church. And so every Sunday we went to church with me.
And you know what's funny about that is I went to church. Did I have a relationship with Christ? No. I knew Jesus saved, and before at some point I accepted Christ. It's a funny story. If you don't mind. When I joined the military, we both met in the military.
I was going to ask you how you met. Go ahead.
And when we met, but before that, I signed up to join the Navy. And I knew I couldn't swim. And so I said, you know what, basically I'm going to accept Christ as my personal savior, just in case. You know, and I
so
really,
it was your backup plan.
It was my backup plan. I may be the next one to drown. I'm like, hey, just in case. But I really didn't have a relationship with Christ.
Right.
And I thank God that my wife did, because after we met years later and we started dating.
You met my family.
And you know, she set her own boundaries. Dating without church is not an option. And so I had to say, okay, no problem. And I adjusted to that, and then I started going back to church on a regular basis, started understanding what Christ and who Christ is all about. And then that's kind of how we developed into who we are today. So we always had that relationship with God. And, you know, but she more than I do, but I had to kind of humble myself to learn what God is all about.
I want to know how you all first. Before you laugh, you make me.
I'm so sorry. Because I'm waiting for this one to act a fool.
Okay. So I really want to know how you all first met. Can you share that with us?
We have the truth.
Three sides.
We have the truth
the story, okay?
and his story.
Mine is the actual correct version, and then the truth really is my version, and hers. Well, but please go ahead. You may tell the truth this time. Go ahead.
Oh, I can tell the
The
truth.
truth.
Anyway, I was at a point in my life where, and I was only like 20 maybe, that I was just tired of dating. You know, I did the whole long distance thing the first few years in the Navy, and you know, it just wasn't working out for me, and I was just tired of dating, and so I was just minding my own business, honestly, minding my own business, keeping to myself, you know, enjoying my life,
Your life.
my life, and he and Philip were up in my room one day visiting my roommate. So
We're both Jamaicans.
and they're both Jamaicans. And one day they're up in our room visiting my roommate, and he saw a photo of me. And he said, "Who is that girl?" And she was like, "That's my roommate." And he was like, "Oh." Now tell him how you were just smitten after that moment, babe.
Yeah, tell us how you were just smitten, head over heels.
Yes,
a picture.
I saw a small passport size. I think it was a black and white photograph. And ever since I'm like, and
It was 8 by 10.
8 by 10.
again irrelevant.
But 8 by 10 and passport size.
Right, two different sizes.
Two huge different sizes.
But so I saw the picture, and I was just taken by just the sheer beauty of what was there. I'm like, wow. So I'm like, who's this person? I'm trying to inquire, and I think I went back there a couple of times, and she was never there. And fast forward, I'm not sure how long after that, I was in
The laundry room.
the laundry room doing my laundry, and it's like the Lord says,
Don't put it on the
dress this way, and it was hanging around. So I had a T-shirt.
So you had no idea she was going to show up to the laundry room.
No, but
So you just dressed up and stayed around for no reason because the Lord told you to.
The capture of the T-shirt
be working like that.
says, my teacher says, "I'm the one your mother warned you about."
It was a red T-shirt.
Yes, and then I was down there, you know, in the laundry room, sitting on top of one of the washing machines and stuff like that. And she walked in,
And I looked at him and that shirt, and I said, "Really?"
and I said, "I know you."
And I'm like, "I don't know you."
I said that, and I said something like, I think I've been to your room," you know, something like that. The conversation kind of started that way, and then rest is history. After that,
You know, no,
no, that's what I recall right
that's
now.
what you remember. So
Yeah.
anyway, he would just try. And I just was not attracted to him, you know, and he would, come up to the room or, tell Philip, just tell her to date me, and Philip would come knock on my door, just date my friend, just date my friend. And I'm like, I don't want to date your friend.
Of course, a little exaggeration, but it's okay.
No, it's not. So then he got mad at me because I ignored him one day. He called me the B word.
I'm not sure what I mean. I don't recall that.
You called her beautiful?
Could have been, yes. That's
Okay.
Right. And then he says, well, she must be gay if she doesn't want me. And I was like, this little skinny, dark Jamaican man, with this accent. No. And he kind of just wore me down. He just would never disappear.
But
then you started, no, hold on. Then he started telling people I was his girlfriend.
well, that's the story you're telling me.
No, that's the truth. And so then I was like, why no one trying to holler at me? What's going on? This guy was telling everybody that we were together. That was probably started really around March.
Wow,
and then we kind of started dating. And this is all in the same year, mind you, so pay attention to the timeline. So March of 1990. Married in December 1990.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Seriously started dating September or August 1990. So, yeah, all that within a few months.
Well, hold on. How did you know that, okay, Lord, this is the one?
I remember my grandmother, well, let's back that up. My great-grandmother was such a godly woman. I mean, just God all through her, in her. I mean, she's such a powerful woman of God. And one day during the summer, I took Rich with me to go visit her. And on the way out, we went back to say goodbye. And this is when I was still a little iffy, like not totally publicly saying he was my boyfriend. But, we were together all the time. So on the way out, we were getting to leave, and she took both of our hands, put them together, and blessed us. And I said, well, there that is. And then a month before our wedding, he got really sick. And so he started having grand mal seizures just left and right, left and right. It was just the scariest thing in my life. And I just said, Lord, I can't live without this man.
Oh, my God.
I cannot live without him. I knew at that moment when I saw them cart him away in the ambulance that I did not want to live my life without Richard. And it was the scariest first year of our marriage, really, because he was still
having those,
suffering with him for a long time. But they did release him so we can get married. We couldn't go on a honeymoon, but they did release him in time for the wedding. And we made it through that. But that was one of the most frightening times of my life, watching him go through the grand mal seizures and then, struggling, not only being in one, but even coming out of it was a battle for him still, because it's very, I don't want to use the word combative, but he was just, it was a lot. But wow. God delivered.
Hey, God,
you didn't know that part, huh?
I didn't know that part. Wow. Yeah. For better or worse, be sickness.
Amen.
And that happened at the beginning of your relationship.
Yeah, at the beginning, prior to us even saying I do. So he was military, medically retired. Mm-hmm. So he couldn't drive. He couldn't do anything for a long time because of the epilepsy. And so working was an issue. You're talking first few years of our marriage where, I'm an E3, which is nothing in the Navy, and we made it through.
Yeah, we experienced storms.
Goodness gracious.
But the beautiful thing about this relationship over the last 35 years, God was always there.
Yeah.
And as long as we kept the faith.
Yeah.
As long as we kept the faith, that was so important that we kept the faith, because every time you go through storms, you see God's hands moving in our lives.
So before I met him, even when I was younger, I didn't want to get married. Not because I didn't have a good picture of what marriage could be or what it is, because my parents have been married for a long time. But I just saw my life as this single woman traveling with my girlfriend, going to Jamaica, having a good old time, being a senior exec somewhere, and just me. Until this one day, I was laying in the bed, and all of a sudden I heard the Lord say, "Pray for your husband." Mind you, I wasn't going to church every day or on a constant, basis. But I heard him say, "Pray for your husband." And I just remember looking up like, I don't even want a husband. So I know this got to be the Lord. I know it's got to be the Lord speaking. And so I said, okay. So I started praying. And as I was praying, it felt like something took over my prayers. And I started to pray for his health. I started to pray for his sisters and brothers. I started to pray for his mom. I mean, it was like I had this secret. The Lord was giving me insight of where he was in that moment as I was praying.
Wow.
And I would just, and I'm praying and I'm praying and I'm thinking in my mind, like, where is all of this coming from? And a few months later, I met him. And we met in the club, though. We met.
We sure did.
Yeah, we had a good time at the club. I didn't know I was going to meet him. But the thing was, when we walked into the club, my girlfriends, they said, and my cousins, they said, y'all see that guy over there? He looks really nice. He's real cute. I didn't know who they were looking at. And I looked around, still didn't see who they were looking at. And then all of a sudden, I saw him. And in my mind, I was like, dang, he is cute. But they saw him first.
Oh.
What type of girl code is that?
I mean, if you go out to the club with your girlfriends or any place, and your girlfriend tell you, "Ooh, he look good.
Yeah.
He looks good." You already know in your mind that she's going to try to go talk to him.
Yeah.
So why would I try to be her, being a friend? Why would I try to go be her to you first? That's not cool. That's not what friends do.
That's not what girlfriends do. Guys, I don't know if guys. Yeah, you saw them, but okay,
We gonna see who's gonna get it.
we got that same code.
So yeah,
Just because I went to the bathroom when she walked in, don't mean she's yours.
I left it alone because I don't like to compete with nobody. I'm not going to sit here. And I was feeling myself. I just lost a little weight and I was feeling real pretty. I'm like, I'm not going to fight with them to go battle it out to get his attention. And so throughout the night, and mind you, in the group, it was just like 20 of us. In the group, it was like 4 Tiffany's. It was about 4 of us. And so one of the Tiffany's, she saw him and she said, I'm about to go over there and talk to him. Because she was one of the ones that saw him first. And I said, go ahead, girl. I said, good luck. So she walked over there. I don't know what type of conversation they had. But when she
we take the conversation?
Back, go ahead. Tell me the conversation. Tell them.
The facts.
So facts, truth.
Just the facts, man.
Right. So we on the wall because guys just hang on the wall. We drinking. We on the wall.
They had blazers on.
We look good in our blazers too. We had the corduroy blazers on. We was killing them. Anyway, this was a different time period.
We were like in a hood setting.
So, but that's why we stood out. Nobody else had blazers on. Right.
And my best friend kept on saying,
Anyway, we standing there, and we all see her leave the group because we watching the group and start to come over. And I tell my brother, my cousin, said, "Oh my God, here she come over here. She getting ready to destroy it because she gonna go over here and say, oh girl, he said I was this, that, and the third, and mess it up, right? Because I had already spotted the one that I wanted, and that wasn't it. So walking over, and oh Lord. So when she came over, she said hi. We said hi, and then she started talking about the club and asked me about dancing, and immediately I cut her off right then. I said, listen, stop. I said, look, is that your friend over there? And I pointed to Tiffany. This Tiffany, because it was 8 of them. and she said, yes. I said, do me a favor. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go back. I want you to tell her that one. And I described it. Do you see that one? That one. Right? That if I dance, she'll be the only one I dance with. And you go back, you tell her that and nothing else.
Oh,
And I said, tell me what I said. She said it back. Yes, I did. She said it back to me. And she, and I told my boys, I'm like, that girl gonna go over there and lie and say, girl, he said, X, Y, and Z. But turn out, she did exactly that, right? She went back.
She came back and she said, hey, I went over there to talk to him, and he told me that if he danced with anyone in this club, it's going to be you. And that kind of I was like, okay.
all right.
I guess I ain't had to compete after all. I didn't have to compete after all. And I never had that happen. I thought that was very smooth, as some people would say. It was very smooth. So that did catch my attention. And so, throughout the whole night, we never danced with each other.
No, I wasn't a dancer.
We never danced with each other. And I looked around and, lights came on. It was time to leave the club. And I remember looking around. I was like, dang, he left. He's gone. And all of a sudden I turn around and he's standing right behind me. Did you even know you were standing behind me?
I didn't know too much. I had
a lot of drinks.
Yeah. No. It was a long night.
Yeah, so. He had a lot of we both did. We had a lot of drinks. We did. But yeah, he was right there as I turned around and we locked eyes and I was like, okay. I said, you want to come over here and talk? And we sat down and we talked for a little bit.
It was awkward because I didn't have anything to say. First of all, I'm trying to get myself together to make sure I'm not, stumbling over my words and falling down. And we sitting at the table and I'm just looking at her like, man, she's so pretty, but like, what do I say to this? I'm ready to go home. I'm hungry. My stomach hurts. Like, all this stuff going through my mind, right? So, yeah, it wasn't the best conversation.
It wasn't. No, but he did tell me, he texted me. He said, I'll call you later if your name is Tiffany or something like that. Yeah. If that's your real. He didn't believe my name was Tiffany because I thought that was
their out name. Everybody's name is Tiffany until we figure out if this is okay. Then we give you the real name. Because how all y'all named Tiffany?
Yeah.
That's really.
Yeah. So I didn't believe her name was Tiffany.
That was how we met, but how I knew that he was different in the one. He ended up calling me on his way back to Maryland. We didn't know we both lived in Maryland. He ended up, and he just called, I guess you could call just to say, see if I made it home safely, because we both were traveling, from afar, 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours away. So he called to make sure that I made it back safely. And further down in our relationship, when we were actually made it boyfriend, girlfriend, I remember clearly, we were sitting on the couch watching TV and he was leaning up against me. Come on, babe, lean against me. He was leaning on me and we were watching TV and it was like I heard this voice say, that's your husband. And I remember looking up at the Lord real quietly. I said, just like that. Because I was already gone. I was like head over heels for him. And I just started smiling. It's like, this is my husband. Okay. But that was the beginning of our relationship. We started having problems because, like I said, with God wasn't all, we knew God, but he wasn't always all up in it. We had them principles jumping like we should have. We had our worldly principles going on, but it took God to bring us back together. Amen. He established a better foundation than what we had before. And he showed me how to love him and just to be more patient because there was some things that I had to work out within myself. Right. And if I didn't follow God's leading, we probably wouldn't be here because...
Tiffany, you just said something very powerful. You basically didn't know some things, right? And I didn't know how to be a wife. There was no one really around me, like I said, aside of Aunt Linda, but I didn't live with her. So I had a lot of roughness. Although we had church, I still had a lot of, I can do bad by myself kind of attitude, and I can be really quick at the mouth. Ooh, just, and God over the years, he really worked on me in that area. because I didn't really know how to love. I didn't really know how to express myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do a lot of things, but like you said, but God,
Yes.
He came in and He just, you know, laid that foundation. He just kept putting more and more on top of it, on top of that foundation, building us up. And because, I wasn't the greatest wife in the world. Trust me when I tell you, but we made it through.
What point in your dating did you feel like you really had to seek God for his help with your relationship?
And dating?
In dating or
In dating, did you have any
No.
moments?
well, I think the
Oh,
answer would be yes.
yeah, yeah.
When
I'm
I
gonna take it back.
was ill.
When we told your mother we were going to get married, that
Yeah,
was our first
yeah. I think that was our
huge
first.
challenge. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we,
My mother was never supportive of it. Um, you know, in the family, they say I'm a mama's boy. I don't see that, but they say that I'm her favorite. However, when we decided to tell her, it was never. She wanted to stop the wedding, so there was a friction going on,
it was nasty.
and stuff like that. So even today, I mean, we have like a professional relationship, but yeah, that was a
That was
challenge because
tough.
once I had my in-laws support 100%, no problem. I have open arms when it came to them, but with my mother, she was like,
I will stop it.
no, no, so that was the area where as a man, and I think that made me evolve into who I am today, because I had two choices. I could either, it says leave and cleave. I could choose that option, or I should go back, live with my mother, and who knows what happens. But or I could choose this option and become an adult and be faithful, and then pursue what I want to do. And so by doing that, the relationship between my mother and I shifted. That was the first biggest
Huge.
challenge, I think.
Yeah.
That
That
we
one
had.
brought us to our knees,
Yeah.
and it actually led up to his having the seizures.
Really?
Yeah, because when I tell you,
The
want to talk
stress.
about spiritual warfare, that was some deep spiritual warfare with some of the things that she was saying and some of the, like with her medium, she was seeking to get clarity. And then you have my family who, they're praying and they're standing, in the Word of God with us, and it was just like such a spiritual battle leading up to. So I think, yeah, that would be it. I almost forgot about that for a second. But yeah, it was, whew, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's
And, you know, we just really didn't have the support not from,
no.
not from your mother, and like he says, today it's cordial, um, don't say anything bad about her. She's his mother. He loves her. I respect her. But that was it. Yeah, that was it.
So let me ask you a question. In what way though did that hurdle or struggle in your relationship as you all were dating help to make you stronger or become a positive in your relationship to build upon when you saw that he was willing to, go with you all the way in that relationship, even though it kind of put distance between him and his mom?
You know what? It just, for lack of a better term, you and me against the world.
Yeah.
Because I remember he also got sick. So not only was I dealing with opposition from his family, I was also dealing with being at the hospital almost every day,
Wow.
with him and going through that. And it just put us closer together in our faith. It was just me and Richard, period. And that's what kept us together. With God, all things are possible. That was what we believed. And, I knew only God can get us through that. Only God can get us through that. And so we had the prayer of my family and their support, the whole while he was in the hospital and sick, and no one from his family came out
To visit?
to visit or what have you. And pre-adventure to say, some didn't even think I was going to go through with the marriage. You know, a lot of people told me, do not marry him. Do not marry that boy. He's sick. What are you going to do for you? He's getting out the Navy. He's not going to have a job. You know, you can't marry that boy. He is sick. He is not good for you. One person said, you know what? He's just not good enough for you. You know, 35 years later, that person looked him in his eyes and she said, I admit I thought that way. But she says, I'm so sorry because you are the best thing that could have happened to her. Just recently. Just recently.